Alrighty, so this is a video about my new shiny thing, which is the RC20XL from Boss. And I've mixed feelings. I've only had a couple of days. I've never owned a loop station before, so I'm not that used to using loop stations. But basically, I'm just going to go through it with you. And so if you're it's really designed for people who might want to try one out in the shop, or might want to think, is this a usable device for them? So I was thinking in a live context. That's my primary reason for using this thing. To do a simple loop, what you'd expect: to start recording a loop, and then to stop recording a loop and instantaneously start playback. You just do that based on the left pedal alone. So the phrase I'm going to use to show you this, to demo this unit, is just very simple chord progression, which is just something like this. Okay, so it shouldn't prove too difficult. Actually, I'll just make it even simpler than that, because the timing of when you hit this pedal using this simple method is crucial, and if you're trying to do anything too fancy, you can get it wrong. So 2, 3, 4. So let's see if that came out okay. Not brilliant. There's a glitch. It's not too bad actually. It's so we can get we also get these level controls here, so we can control the level of the recorded playback, make it quieter or turning it off even louder, so we can mix it with our dry signal from the guitar. And we press this pedal here, this right pedal, to stop playback. Now that's fine. We can also overdub, so we can anytime we can resume playback by just pressing this pedal again. And if we press the pedal again, we go into overdub mode. Two, 3, 4. Now, you have to be careful actually, because as long as you're in overdub mode, it'll keep recording more and more layers based on the loop time. It doesn't just record once. So what you have to do really is hit it for one loop round and then hit it again to turn it off. But I didn't do that there, so I was actually double tracking, if you like. But supposing we didn't like that last overdub, which I didn't particularly actually, we can get rid of it by holding down the left pedal again. So now we're back in playback mode, and then we want to get rid of that, so we hold down this until it flashes. And we're back to the original thing. So if I want to do something different, something like that, okay, just a very simple thing. And we can keep going, we can keep putting down more and more overdubs, so we can keep going, we can get up to, I don't know what the limit is, but presumably it's quite a few, because I think it just uses up until it's got no memory left. It's got 16 minutes recording time in total. So this is getting a bit mental, so I'm going to turn it off. Now, the thing is that actually getting that timing right, if you're playing, especially if you're playing something more complicated, getting the timing right of when you set down the initial loop is actually quite difficult. So once you've got the initial loop down, and if you're happy with it, then things become a lot easier, because the overdub mode is actually quite easy to use. You still like punch in and punch out recording. You just press it when you want to start recording overdubs, and it'll keep recording more and more overdubs until you stop it. So it's actually, it's quite easy, as long as you don't forget to turn it off, in other words, to stop the overdub mode. But if I set up, I'll just show you what happens if you get it wrong. I've deliberately messed it up. Now you can hear it sounds awful, yeah. It doesn't sound like music at all, hardly. So to get this spot on, to get the press of this spot on, what they've put into it is a loop quantization, and this goes hand in hand with this guide function here. So what you do with loop quantization to get set up is you can either tap this button or tap this pedal to get the beat set up, and if we turn up the guide, we can hear it. So it's got different guide tracks as well. You don't have to use the one drum sound, you can use, there's several different ones on it, but I'm just going to show you the basic one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's what we're going to play over that. But what we want to do, the problem, this is where Boss have designed this pedal really badly, and they could make a huge improvement here. In this mode, if we've got our tempo going, we can, what the loop quantization will do is it'll automatically fix the loop to the nearest beat it'll fix the end point of the recording to the nearest beat when you press this left pedal, so you don't have to get it exactly right. It doesn't fix the start point. So start point happens when you press the left pedal, but it's not the start of recording that happens. What it actually does is it restarts the beat and it gives you a count in. If you're trying to use it, you have to get it going with this one. If I just press this, it'll go back to the manual sort of non-quantized loop mode. If I press this again, there it is. There's a beat. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So if you listen, see now it's started recording. They give me a count in, and that red light is flashing while it gives you the count in. It gives you a count in just to 4. You can change the time signature. You can use apparently any time signature with a denominator of 4, so 3, 4, 5, 4, etc. But the problem is that if they had got it so that the existing beat was, you got going with this just to get your timing going, and then when you press this pedal, it just started recording automatically, quantized to the next beat or the next measure, that'd be cool. That'd be brilliant. But it doesn't do that. It actually resets and gives you a count in, which isn't too bad. And actually, if you're using this in a live situation or something, what you'd probably try and do is time this press with the beat. But that brings you back to square one. What's the point in the quantization if you have to get this exactly right? So let's try that. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, there's going to be a count in as soon as I press this left pedal, so I have to allow for that as well. Okay, so it's going. We can turn off the guide now if we wanted to. The loop is properly quantized, so that's fine. It has this little light here, which I thought might be really useful for if you were playing a live situation where you have a drummer and he doesn't want to have this. He doesn't want to have this coming out your guitar amp, does he? Really, drummers don't tend to like that kind of thing. I certainly wouldn't like to use it in a live situation with a live drummer. So what I thought you might be able to do is just tap this tempo pedal in time with the drummer, and then use it as the basis of your loop quantization, or have or at least gain the advantage of loop quantization if you were the one to start playing and the drummer was to join in with you later. But actually, that's practically impossible. I cannot, for the life of me, get my playing to work with this light because my head doesn't understand the light. And I'll show you what it's like. So if I set up a basic beat, and we're going to turn the guide off, sorry, that's what I'm saying, we're going to turn the guide off so we're not using the drum track, but we'll still be using the little light for tempo, or trying to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You can see that the light changes to orange on every strong beat, so if I turn back up the guide track, you can see that. 1, 1, see it changes to an orange, or a sort of a ready orange light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Now remember, even though the guide track's turned down, I still have to allow for the count in as well, which makes things even more complicated. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can hear that, it's crap. It's more or less timing is okay, but it's not musically what I intended to play. And I've actually never managed to get it right with trying to use the light as the basis of the tempo. So I think the loop quantization isn't actually usable in a live situation. But maybe some of you out there will prove me wrong and show me why it might be useful if you just get your head around it. But I certainly don't foresee myself using that. So I think for me, if I want to keep this pedal, which I probably will, hopefully, is I'm just going to have to learn to get this timing of this pedal, the press of this pedal, because it's only an initial loop, as I said, that it's difficult to set up. Once you've got that going, you're laughing really. I hope this has been a useful video, and thanks for listening.